Here's the simplest and quickest way to destroy 15 pounds of fat in the next month. These tips are the exact same strategies that I teach my clients. If you follow them, they will work. First thing first, you're going to need to download the MyFitnessPal app. Go to the App Store. After you go to the App Store, just type in MyFitnessPal, download the app onto your phone, and before we set up the app, here's what you need to know. You need to know your calories that you're going to be tracking on the MyFitnessPal app. Because if you don't know your calories, you're basically driving a car completely blind. And if you're driving a car blind, what's going to happen? You're leaving yourself up to crash and burn. Go online, find a calorie calculator, put your information in, then it'll give you some calories to play with. Don't worry if it's not the most accurate thing, because these calorie calculators aren't accurate, but it gives you a starting point. After setting up the MyFitnessPal app, you're going to input the calories that the calculator is giving you onto the MyFitnessPal app. After you do those first two steps, it's pretty simple from here. Now we start tracking our calories to make sure that we're actually in a calorie deficit that will aid to us losing weight. When you're tracking your calories, you need to make sure you're taking the total grams of the foods you're actually putting into MyFitnessPal. Because if you're just inputting food into MyFitnessPal without actually allocating how many grams you're having of that particular food, you're just tracking things inaccurately. You need to get one of these. It's a digital food scale. You can pick it up from like Tesco, Amazon. I think it costs you £5 to £7 max. I'll put a link in the description box if I have one, so you guys can just pick one up. I'm going to show you guys a couple different examples when it comes to tracking your food. For example, when it comes to seasoning up your food and foods that already come like in a packet. So the first example, let's go for foods that come in a packet and it already tells you how many grams are in those foods. It's pretty damn simple, guys. So I got my microwavable rice there, and the microwavable rice tells me how many grams is in it. So I can directly put this into MyFitnessPal. So if I'm having the full packet of rice, it's 220 grams. So all I would do is take 220 grams and put it into the MyFitnessPal. Now let's pretend I don't know exactly how many grams of rice is in this, right? So let's just say this is a pot of rice I cooked up. So here's what I'm going to do to make sure I'm being accurate with my tracking on the MyFitnessPal app. I'm simply going to get my food scale, get your bowl or a plate, because bearing in mind, if you're cooking food from at home, you're going to be dishing it up anyway. So it only takes an extra second to get a plate, put the plate on the food scale, turn the food scale on, dish your food up into the plate. So that's 200 grams of rice I've just dished up into the bowl, right? Now this next step is for my Caribbeans or my people who love to really season up their foods. So here's what you're gonna do. Some chicken that I've seasoned up here. Basically it was a full chicken and I've just chopped it up. There's something we need to address called hidden calories. Because if you're not aware of hidden calories, you're basically making a meal that can be very healthy, unhealthy just due to the hidden calories you're adding on it from like sauces, condiments, seasonings. You need to be really careful. So let's say you're seasoning up your chicken like how I just had, right? And in this particular seasoning, per 100 grams is around 300 calories. That's a ton of calories per 100 grams. If you're using 100 grams on your meat, that basically means you're adding an additional 300 calories to your meal. You need to allocate those calories in MyFitnessPal. You don't need to be overly obsessive with certain seasonings once the calorie content isn't like crazy high. Some key takeaways when it comes to tracking to help you absolutely destroy that belly fat. First of all, what do I do if I haven't got a food scale on me and maybe I'm at an event, I'm in work? You simply just need to guesstimate. And this is why it's important to start tracking and weighing your food, because the more you do it, the better you're going to get at being able to eyeball food. When you do is, if you're at a restaurant, find the menu, put it into ChatGPT and ask it the calories of whatever particular meal you're thinking of having, or just type the meal in on Google and ask for the calories. You're going to be able to find another restaurant that has the calories if the current menu isn't telling you the calories. It's pretty simple to do. You got to bear in mind, it's never going to be the most accurate because you don't know how much oil or how much seasoning they're using on these foods. So it's a case of just taking an estimate. Calorie tracking requires too much time. It really doesn't require much time, because if you have enough time to scroll on social media and look at random TikToks or whatnot, you have enough time to track your calories. It takes seconds. Simply before you go to bed, plan out your day of eating in MyFitnessPal. And then if for whatever reason life gets a bit busy, you can't eat the meals that you've planned, you already have the total calories allocated for whatever meal you may not be able to eat. So if you know lunchtime you had already planned 500 calories, you look at your phone, you'll see, okay, 500 calories I plan to eat. No problem. I don't want to eat that meal. I'm going to have something else that's 500 calories. It is done. How do I deal with home cooked meals that have loads of ingredients in them? Honestly, this is so simple to do. What I would do is I would take a picture of all the ingredients that I use and simply input it into ChatGPT and tell it how many servings of foods I'm going to be making with those particular ingredients. And it's going to work out the total calories for each portion of food. Then you just put it into the MyFitnessPal app and you're done. Very simple, doesn't require much time, and then just make sure you're keeping the ingredients the same for when you're cooking those meals, and in this way then you don't always need to use ChatGPT or anything like that. If something is 0 calories, do I need to track it? No, it's 0 calories, you do not need to track it. Anything that's 1 to 2 calories and you're not consuming it in excessive amounts, you don't need to track. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, put on post notifications, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.